All right, we are back on Morning Line, our final segment. We're streaming live on Facebook at newschannel5.com. Thank you for following us there. Daron Hall's our guest, the sheriff in Davidson County, and you can call in. Want to hit, look, in the years I've been doing this and talked to a lot of sheriffs and come to know Daron, I don't think there's a topic that is more important to him in terms of dealing with the correctional system as it is the mental health. And you've said it time and again, drugs, mental health. And I wanted to bring up the situation involving this Jessica Ford woman who earlier this week, as many of you may know, or it was last week I guess, ran her car into the gate at the White House. And she was from Laverne, most recently living in Davidson County. I don't think she's ever been through the jail, but she's been incarcerated here in Middle Tennessee. I've had some contact with her family. And I wanted to ask you about this because they said, listen, what she did is inexcusable. She's going to be punished for it, as she should be. But she has bad mental issues. And they have tried repeatedly. This is the third time she went at the White House. Tried repeatedly for that and other instances of getting her mental health treatment, getting someone to address it, trying to help. And they are willing to get involved and do it. Nothing. They actually knew that she was going up there to the White House, possibly with a gun, to do what she was doing. They called and reported it. They contacted the Secret Service. Secret Service, I think, was watching for this. She was on their radar. What do you have to say about this case? The fact that it appears as though they could get no help, and it got to the point where she rams the gate at the White House.
You know, it's symbolic of the problem, Nick. The bottom line is the mental health system is broken in this country. There really isn't a very good system. And so what you and I do as taxpayers and the community that we live in and in Washington, D.C. is we rely on the criminal justice system to fix something that's an illness. You would never ask the criminal justice system to fix cancer. You would never say, hey, my in-laws have cancer, and go arrest them and throw them in jail and see if you can get them some medical treatment while they're there. But what you're talking about is exactly what's going on. Her whatever she does, whatever she did, she's mentally ill. It doesn't excuse it, but what you're asking us to do is to punish her. She doesn't understand that you don't carry a gun to the White House. She is not going to understand that you have a 40-year sentence for doing that. You just soon throw her out in the woods. It doesn't really help to issue punishment. Criminal justice is set up for people who understand, if I do this, I'm going to be punished. Mental illness. If you walk naked, I'm not making the story up, if you walk naked into the airport to buy a ticket, which just happened a couple of years ago, to buy a ticket to fly somewhere, why do you believe punishing that person by giving them a 20-day sentence for indecent exposure is going to change his outlook on what he did? He didn't know you're supposed to put clothes on.
And here's the thing too now, and I hear what you're saying there as well. And I know you're not suggesting that she just get a slap on the wrist for what she did here, but the point being that I think you're making is that well before she committed an act this egregious, okay, there were the warning signs and there were lesser acts where there was a family seeking help and couldn't get it. Meaning that what happened in D.C. could have been prevented. I mean, is that not part of it? Is that, yeah, after it all happens, then you can address, well, the mental illness or whatever, but this could have been stopped earlier for much more minor crimes.
Nick, I get a call a few months back. A criminal defense attorney here in town calls me on a Saturday night, and it just changes the faces of what you're talking about. Calls me on a Saturday night, hey Daron, you remember so-and-so family, kind of why, well, their kids played baseball with our kids 10 years ago. Oh yeah, 23-year-old son, yeah, he's at home. He's bipolar. The family's scared of him. He's tearing up his bedroom. They don't know what to do. He needs mental health treatment. Can you help me get him to Middle Tennessee Mental Health for mental health treatment? I said, no. The reason I can't is I have 10 of them ahead of him in the jail who have dived off the bunks, trying to harm themselves, mutilating himself. I'm trying to get to that hospital. I can't get there. That guy in his house, in his bedroom, is never going to get to Middle Tennessee. He says to me, well, can we have him arrested so he can at least be seen by the mental health professionals in the jail? I said, I can't tell you to do that. In principle, I don't want to say, have this kid arrested. We hang up. We're friends. We hang up. 2 hours later, he calls me. He's in booking. We need him to be seen by the psychologist.
But he hasn't committed a crime. He just showed up and was he brought there?
His family had to have him arrested to get what you need. This family you're talking about, the only way she's going to get what she needs is to have been arrested for it. And then what you're going to do as a society is think that punishment, I don't mean let her go, but punishment is going to keep her from doing it again. That's ridiculous. It makes no sense.
And again, these are folks, I guess, if someone in the family has means, there are ways that you can pay to get private mental health treatment for a child.
Okay.
If you, I mean, aren't there are places, you know, you can go to, take them to the psychologist, take them to a psychiatrist. That takes a lot of money, but I mean, can that not happen?
Okay, and I'm not over dramatizing this. The family that I was called about on a Saturday night, I know them well. You would know them. Okay. They could buy the hospital.
Well, don't they have means to get the child into some type of...
To go see a psychologist or psychiatrist is an appointment, right?
Yeah, and the psychologist...
Where are you going to put them?
Yeah, I know.
In the 60s and 70s, this country decided to deinstitutionalize the mentally ill. All these people we're talking about would have been in hospitals. I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee on Murfreesboro Road and Donaldson Pike right now. When I grew up, that was Central State Hospital. Right. Today, it is Dell Computer. That's what this country has done. We've moved away from what is caring for the ill by replacing it with a corporation. I don't have a problem with Dell. They're great people. But we now move those people down Murfreesboro Road into the jail.
And there you go. All right, real quick, since we only have about 3 minutes left, I want to, you know, a mental health summit is happening on Monday. I guess we're talking about this, so I want you to tell me then, what is the solution to this? And I know we're building this big, spectacular new jail, and I know you're going to have, you know, resources there for this very thing. The summit and the solution.
Yeah, super cool day on Monday. Just so happens I didn't know we were getting into this today, but it's on Monday we're doing an all-day thing at Vanderbilt. We've been working on this for over a year, and we're bringing the sheriff from Chicago, Illinois, really super cool guy. I've been on 60 Minutes. He's really doing what I like the word is decriminalize it. Well, yes, we have to deal with mental illness, but let's decriminalize it. Get the crime off of it. Do you know why we deinstitutionalize mentally ill?
It's always got to be money, doesn't it?
Stigma.
Oh, stigma?
Because we were stigmatizing mentally ill by putting them in hospitals. That's in the 60s and 70s. Now we put them in jails and call them criminal and mentally ill.
Yeah, which is even more expensive. Worse.
Too. So, so the sheriff in Chicago, we have a sheriff from Colorado, another one from Minneapolis. We have forensic psychologists. We have authors that are going to be there with us all day. A really cool guy who's written a book called Losing Tim. Tim was his son. He lost his son into the mental health system, who went in and out of the jails. And so he's one of our guest speakers, Sheriff Dart from Chicago. We have forensic psychologists, doctors on panels all day. We're basically just talking about, look, we've got to expose this community that what criminal justice does is hide. We enable. When you arrest a naked man in the airport, you, society, believe we've solved the problem. We haven't done one thing. We've taken him out of the airport, but if all you want us to do is to punish him and send him back home, he's going to be naked again. This woman in Washington, or that drove into D.C. into the White House, if you just punish her, she's going to do it again. She may get on an airplane and fly, and I don't know. But until you arrest the real issue, and it's not the person, it's illness or addiction, you're going to keep seeing these people do this. You can't punish a person who doesn't understand the ramifications of punishment. The man driving in Clarksville and shot somebody, I believe he can be punished. I do not believe you can punish a naked man in the airport. And we've got to find a way where society looks at mental health as an illness. We have 40% of the people coming in jails today who are diagnosed mentally ill. We're the only country in the world who does
40%.
40% of the people.
Meaning, so, and then the other percentage, how many on drugs? And 90, I know
90%.
90% are on drugs. A lot of them are both mentally ill and on drugs, self-medicating. You address the mental health issue. If you just want to look at it from a purely financial standpoint for taxpayers, can you imagine how much money that would save if you eliminated 30 to 40% of your inmates because they had treatment and were able to function in society?
Don't stop with me. 40% of the police department, 40% of the courthouse, 40% of the probation office, 40%. But you know what you have to do? Take that money and treat the illness.
Yeah.
You don't save money in a society. You move it to where it is. You go to other countries, they laugh. I've been around the world in this business. When you end up there and you tell people I'm from the United States, I'm the president of the American Correctional Association, they laugh at you because they go, "You're the place that incarcerates everybody." And we do. In their country, 40% would be in hospitals. Another group would be in treatment centers, right? And they don't have mass shootings running around the country every day.
In America, when they hear you say this, and I guarantee there's someone out there saying right there, well, it's because we're tough on crime. We're not cush like these other countries. They've got these folks in hospitals and reluxing beds, talking to psychiatrists that they've committed a bad crime. That's not right. We need to punish them. I guarantee you there's people saying that out there. We're tough in America on crime.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't work if that's what you believe. It's never worked. And quite frankly, I don't see mass shootings every other day in their countries. I don't see the casualties of issues like gun violence and opioid overdose that's treated as a crime instead of what it is. And whoever you are, I want to know the last time that your family was arrested for having a heart attack or for cancer No, we don't do that. But for some reason, if you see a person who's talking about elephants flying over, you believe it's criminal. Yeah. Who do you call? The police. The police pull up and make the arrest. In civilized society, what you do is you see that person has a problem. And I don't want them walking around the streets with my kid either. They may harm somebody, or they may, for that matter, be sick. But let's get them diagnosed, figure that out, and put them where they belong. What we do, put them in a police car, bring them to jail, and house them in jails and keep them from everybody's view so it looks like we've solved the problem.
And then eventually when they get out, the problem is still there. Whereas if you get them into the hospital and eventually they do some time and they get out, maybe they become contributing members of society without getting in trouble again.
Sure. And if we don't decide to do something about that, you're going to keep building buildings like this that are doing the wrong thing and wondering why you're getting the results you're getting. And the truth of the matter is, we have a man who's been arrested in Nashville 596 times. He's 42 years old. You add it up. You can't do that. You can't get arrested 596 times.
Yeah.
But the truth is, we've done nothing by arresting him because his problem isn't the law.
Point well taken. I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of paying for prisons and jails.
Me too.
Locking people up. I mean, if there's a better way, a cheaper way, a more affordable way, and obviously a more humanitarian way, I just, again, that's one of your argument is one. I just don't understand another point of view of why you wouldn't do that.
We're going to push hard, and we'll be at Monday at Vanderbilt, and it should be a great day. Hopefully get the word out.
We'll be covering it. Great conversation today.
Thank you very much.
Sheriff, good to see you, Stu. We'll see him again next month. Take a break. Programming note about tomorrow right after this.